This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
Good Monday morning, too. It is a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, and, of course, Sirius XM Channel 158. It's Gil Alexander. That right there. It's my little buddy Kelly Bidlett, everybody.
Hey, yo, how we doing?
Producer number 9. So much more than a producer. What's happening?
Not much. Fun sports weekend. I'm exhausted. I don't know about you.
Americans gave it a run in the Ryder Cup. All for naught.
Yeah, that somehow turned into a thing to watch yesterday.
I was thinking about your -3.5 didn't get home. That was a bit of an upset.
Everything else was a winner, though, so I'll take it.
There you go.
And it became fun. Shane Lowry's celebration was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. So
football. It is a Guessing Lines Monday, by the way, for week number 5 in the National Football League. For those who are new to this is what we do on Monday. I'm in the cocoon with lines. I don't know them. We go through yesterday's games. I guess them. Kelly tells me what they are. Within that process, we try to extract some value. Here is my football weekend. Survivor, great.
Yep.
5 of 6 through with a 6 penny tonight.
Mine was very similar to last weekend, so I'm interested to see where you're going.
Megapod, fine.
Yeah.
2-1 on my best bets. Megapod, got lucky, but 2-1 nonetheless. And then my Guessing Lines performance from a week ago, to quote the great American philosopher Cam Ward, keeping it a buck, I was booty hole. That's what I was. By the way, in trying to avoid what he said, did I make it worse by going with that?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
You're fine, buddy. You're fine. Okay. This is, it was an ugly, it was another bad week. No, I don't think anything will be as bad as week 3, betting-wise, but yeah, millions pre-game sides, all that stuff was not great this week either.
If you treaded water in millions, you're doing great week 4 through 4 weeks.
What did I see Tooley tweet out? It's 25%, I think, of the 5 most selected sides each week have actually gotten home.
Jeez.
That's where we're at through 4 weeks.
It's amazing. As always, we like to update Circa Survivor first, just as a sort of reflection of what's going on out there. What's interesting is, as hard as ATS has been, we are still in the 6-year history of Circa Survivor anyway, we are still on a historically low pace in terms of eliminations. I don't want to hear anybody saying carnage. Like, let's not use that word. It was used enough in the... Thanks, B. Thanks, Kelly. Thanks, Michelle. The thing is, it has not been that way. Thus... Yeah, Kelly without the EY.
Yeah.
So again, we have 2 games left. Obviously tonight, Monday Night Football: Dolphins, Jets, Broncos, and the Bengals. And specifically when it comes to the Broncos, which is where my 6th Survivor entry is. If that were to lose, then we would not have the record low through 4 weeks of Circa Survivor. But as it stands right now, we are, 33.72%. Is this the correct numbers we have up here? Yeah, these are not the correct numbers. Maybe I sent the wrong one here. 33.72% is where we are through 4 weeks. Last year was actually 96.64% out. That's the all-time record that will probably never get broken. 2021. What that should say there is 42.82% knocked out through 4 weeks of Circa Survivor. So right now it's 33.72%, 2 games pending. 2021, the standard low, or the historic low through 4 weeks, was 42.82% through 4 weeks. Think about that. That's the low all time through 4 weeks. 42.82% of all Circa Survivor entries. If the Broncos were to lose tonight, we would actually exceed that number. But if the Broncos win tonight, then this is the historic low, 33.72%. There's some stray numbers on the other teams, but no matter what the other outcomes tonight, this will be the low through 4 weeks. So this is, don't use the word carnage. It's been the opposite of that. 1/3 of the pool is out, and through 4 weeks, in the 6-week history of Survivor anyway, that has never even, we've never come close to that low of a number through 4 weeks. So there you go. That's how it's been in Survivor with 12,000 plus entries still. There it is. There you go. There are the real numbers I'm looking for. 12,406 entries still left in Circa Survivor heading into tonight, which is more entries than started every other Survivor except last year's. Let's put it that way. Put it in context.
That's why I was actually surprised it was as bloody as it was yesterday in Survivor.
The big losers, again, those who had the Chargers. That's the other thing. Our Survivor segments that we do on Tuesday have been pitch perfect so far. Eliminating the ones you're scared of, going with the ones the group from which I will take Circa Survivors. That's been 100% so far. Chargers entries were the big loser yesterday, and then the Packers in the tie with the Cowboys last night, the second highest scoring tie in the history of the National Football League. That was the other big loser, because ties lose, remember, in Circa Survivor. Let me just read some tweets here to start the show. We usually launch right into the following week's games, but I want to go through some of these because one of these leads to a whole conversation I want to have. Eric Pinnell, A&G contest next year, he says. A numbers game contest next year. Guessing lines for the listeners. Whoever gets the most right, meet and greet with you guys. Love the show. Hashtag HTTR. Thank you for the hashtag.
Yeah, I'll have to think about that one. It's going to be a little tough to do.
Caleb Hochroft.
I have to keep Gil in check. I can't keep you all in check for whether you're checking books or anything like that.
Caleb Hochroft. Now that the show has the extra hour, can we get Chrissy back on for a call-in, even if he can't do guessing lines? Loved hearing him discuss stories from the book over the weekend. Oh, I'd love to have Chrissy with stories, some more stories. Bob C-137, has there been a 60 zillion% increase in blocked kicks this season, or have I just involved myself
sure feels like it.
in most of the games that have had them? I mean, I'm asking for a friend who's off to a rough start with bets and picks. I was saying that last night in the group chat. I'm just like, it's the one thing where nothing has fundamentally changed, and yet it's this unbelievable change in the kicking game where everybody can hit from as far as humanly possible, and then there's a ton of block kicks.
And there's some of this is could be logical, but it's not. Like if we were talking about them attempting these so much further out kicks, and maybe there's a lower trajectory and they're getting stuffed by the guy in the middle, that might be a thing. No, it's like people getting around the edge, like stuff like that with blocks that, like you said, it makes no sense. Nothing's changed at all.
This is the one I want to talk about. Ryan Morstein. Gil, great meeting you last month. Next topic for the group text with Felica, Will, Hill, and Fez. Should teams opt to take the ball first in NFL overtime? Have a feeling the group may think taking the ball and not deferring is the right EV play. Okay, so this is, I wanted to get into this. We'll probably start here, and we'll get to the games here, starting with the next segment. And we'll do baseball later, by the way, on the show, because obviously baseball mania starting tomorrow, which I'm super excited about to get the postseason going. 40-40 between the Packers and the Cowboys yesterday. And I just want to, I don't know how clear people are on the overtime rules again. And I think for those who aren't, I know there are going to be some who are, but for those who aren't, again, the regular season overtime is a 10-minute period where they change the rules to make sure that that both teams get a possession. The only way that there's not a possession for both teams is if there's a pick six on the first possession or a safety on the first possession. Otherwise, each team is guaranteed a possession. And we talked about this last week. The quirk that no one has ever mentioned on any mainstream broadcast yet, because it hasn't come up, if one team gets the ball and bleeds the entire clock and scores either by field goal or touchdown at the gun of the 10-minute overtime, it is ruled a tie, because the edict of having both teams get a possession is the one that overrides everything. We also talked about how if you get a touchdown or field goal, say with 6 or 7 seconds left, it is probably then incumbent upon the kicking team, right, the ensuing kickoff, to make sure there is no kickoff return on the subsequent kickoff, because if they bleed the clock on the kickoff return, I don't think that counts either. We'll get to that when that happens. What happened last night was Cowboys matriculate down the field, right? So the Packers win the toss. They defer. This is what Ryan is talking about here on the tweet. They decided to defer. We've had 2 overtime games. Both sets of announcers say this is what teams ought to do, right? Because you want to know what your opponent accomplishes. We'll get to that strategy in a minute if that's foolproof. So the Packers do just that. Remember, the Packers are a team that likes to receive when the game starts, but in overtime they went with, we'll get it second. Cowboys matriculate, they get a field goal from Brandon Aubrey. Packers come down, and then it was a situation, we'll get to that in the game, how they completely were lollygagging with the clock, and they were lucky to get the game-tying field goal in. But I'm not sure if Tirico and Collinsworth were clear about if they scored a touchdown, the game would have been over. The way that they were talking about they don't want to leave the Cowboys time seemed to be a little too broad. If they scored a touchdown, the game would have been over. If they get a field goal, then the Cowboys would have been allowed to have whatever the balance of that 10 minutes was to see if they could score again. With Brandon Aubrey, what a weapon that would have been with very little time left. So that's the regular season rule, the 10-minute period. Once the 10-minute period is over, it's over. And if it ends in a tie, it ends in a tie. The playoffs and the postseason is different, right? Because you can't have a tie. Some team has to advance to the next round, or in the case of the Super Bowl, you have to declare a champion. So remember what happened in that Niners-Chiefs Super Bowl, 15-minute overtime period. That's the first difference. It's a 15-minute period versus a 10-minute period. And in the postseason, you are guaranteed each team has a possession as well, but you can go over the 15 minutes if a second possession bleeds over that, right?
They always use this language. It's the start of a brand new game.
It's not the start of a brand new game. It will bleed over into that. So it's the thing about it was, remember, people were giving Kyle Shanahan guff because he won the toss and elected to receive. Mm-hmm. And against Patrick, so they went downfield, they kicked a field goal. Remember, they had like a 2nd and 4 at the 9 and couldn't get it in. They had to kick a field goal, but you're playing Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes came down, Chiefs got a touchdown. It was ball game, Super Bowl champions. And people were killing Kyle Shanahan for that. But to answer your question, Ryan, I think there's a second school of thought to that, because remember what Kyle Shanahan said after that game is also kind of valid, which is, yeah, but there has to be some value placed. I'll paraphrase for him. There has to be some value placed on getting that potential third possession.
Right.
Now, when you're playing, this is where it gets like, who's your opponent? If you're playing Patrick Mahomes' peak power, maybe you do want to get the ball second. But generally speaking, while you don't want to give Mahomes essentially 4 downs to play on a second possession, because that's what he would have at his disposal, knowing what the other team scored, there is some value in having the third possession, which could be the game-winning possession. So it's a fascinating question. We'll come back. Guessing lines next.
If you're serious about football betting, VSiN's got your weekend game plan. Fridays at 7 p.m., it's the Circa Friday Football Invitational. Saturday morning, VSiN's college football tailgate show at 9 a.m., breaking down matchups, props, and big-time bets. Later that night, join the football contest show as the sharpest betting minds give you their picks for Sunday's game. And Sunday at 9 a.m., lock in with Mitch and Pauly on VSiN's Pro Football Tailgate Show. Your final stop before kickoff. Check out the full lineup at VSiN.com and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
So, Pauly, have you had a chance to read the VSiN Daily yet?
Yeah, came in at 3 a.m. What's Bill doing up that late?
Well, rumor has it, it starts off with a 12-hour meditation session.
Then he just pours himself over film and live TV, really focusing and taking it all in. Bill's in with the biggest insiders, talking trade secrets, strategies, the whole nine, absorbing the info.
And then and only then can the writing process begin.
In Las Vegas, Bill's late night becomes your early morning. Wake up to the very latest betting insights in your inbox with the VSiN Daily. Sign up for free at vsin.com/newsletter.
Coming up on the next edition of Follow the Money, another Monday Night Football doubleheader. Jets, Dolphins, Bengals, Broncos, Week 4 recap. What happened in the weekend of college football? And we know the playoffs are set in Major League Baseball. Nick Whalen to talk Monday Night Football, his best bets. Likewise, Warren Sharp as well. Follow the Money, 4 to 7 Eastern, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Now, Sirius XM Channel 158. Check out the website for all the betting tools and analysis, or get the VSiN Watch app.
VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
NFL season is rolling along. Every snap brings new opportunities. Make sure you've got the edge with VSiN Pro. Right now you can save 40% on our football special with a numbers game, promo code ANG.
ANG as in a numbers game.
You'll get VSiN Pro access to everything we do across every sport from now through the Super Bowl. That means daily best bets plus a leaderboard of our top experts. Real-time DraftKings and Circa betting splits updated every 5 minutes. Proven betting systems and pro tools at VSiN.com. 24/7 video replays and live breakdowns on the VSiN Watch app. Don't wait. Lock in 40% off today with promo code ANG at VSiN.com/subscribe. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. We get tweets. Johnny Millionaire, Dumbo of the Week, Matt LaFleur, talking about holding back a Ferrari. I've noticed since that playoff loss with Rodgers, where they kicked a field goal from like the 2-yard line down double digits, he plays not to lose. Last night, time management, playing for the tie. Tim Bowers, I don't know if he was playing for the tie, but it got to that. Tim Bowers, I have this theory that the more of a media darling and offensive guru is Shanahan, LaFleur, McVay, the more conservative they are in kicking field goals and going forward on fourth. They're scared to not be praised. Dan Groeschel, hold on, are you telling me today's show is guessing lines? I'd never heard of that until Todd Wishnet made me aware of it on this week's Megapod. And did you see the A.J. Brown quote, says Anthony Ventresca.
I love A.J. Brown so
A.J.
much.
Brown, keep in mind the Super Bowl champion Eagles, who last I checked are 4-0 and have won 20 of their last 21. Is that correct?
Yeah, I believe that's right.
This is A.J. Brown. If you're not welcomed, not listened to, quietly withdraw. Don't make a scene. Shrug your shoulders and be on your way. Apparently he's not happy with his targets.
He's not going to make a scene, Gil. He's not going to make a scene, even though everybody's talking about a tweet now.
Oh, and Sly Bry, noted Eagles fan. He says, I was at the Eagles game in Tampa yesterday and saw the longest outdoor field goal in NFL history, and it felt like a run-of-the-mill 45-yarder. These new K-balls must have helium in them. Incredible. Let's get to the games, because we'll get to all this stuff on Guessing Lines. I like when Missy Elliott makes an appearance in that little start right there.
All right, Gil, Thursday night. This is a good one. Niners at the Rams.
Niners at the Rams. Thursday Night Football. Niners dropped from the undefeated. They dropped to 3-1. It was 3-0 Niners, 3-0 Niners when Jacksonville. Gotta just say this. This will be more about Jacksonville than it will be about San Francisco. But I know the game we're talking about is San Francisco at the Rams. Jacksonville down 3-0 after LaQuint Allen Jr. fielded the ensuing kickoff and went immediately out of bounds at the 12 on the run. So that's the first Jacksonville bonehead error. They get it to 3rd and 13 at the San Francisco 40. Trevor to Thomas Jr. Brian Thomas Jr. runs the pattern short of the sticks, doesn't get both feet in. Poor effort, just sort of lollygagged at the sideline. They have to punt.
What is going on with him? That is one of the weirder stories of the NFL season.
That's 3, because Brian Thomas made 2 in one play. That's 3 Jaguars gaffes.
Yeah.
San Francisco, first play, second quarter. Purdy to Luke Farrell for 10, hit by Dennis Gardeck. He fumbles. Andrew Wingard recovers. Jacksonville, first play, Etienne, 48-yard scamper to the house, 7-3 Jacksonville, early second quarter. San Francisco, 1st and 10, Jacksonville, 37. Purdy throws high. He was throwing high all day.
Yeah.
Purdy was just overthrowing everybody, airmailing everybody. Devin Lloyd picks off the deflection. Jacksonville, 3rd and 15. Trevor to Travis Hunter, there you are, for 28. Great catch. Ends up being a 14-play, 89-yard drive that takes 8:01 off the clock. Trevor to Hunter long from 4 out, 14-3 Jacksonville. And then Purdy would overthrow Tungus on 3rd down on the next drive. They'd have to punt. 14-6 now, Jacksonville. Bashal Tootin returns a kickoff, 54 yards. Man, how much has special teams mattered this year also in 4 games? Jacksonville to San Francisco 47 with 32 seconds left. They get a 7-yard play and a face mask, 11-yard pass play after a false start. Hunter for 10, 2nd and 5 at the San Francisco 9 with 15 seconds left. 2 shots at it. No timeouts. They get 2 shots at it, right? 15 seconds left in the half. They're at the 15 seconds left in the half. They're at the 9-yard line. Lawrence throws underneath to Etienne. Just dumb. Wastes another chance at the end zone. Little field goal, 17-6 Jacksonville. That's 4 Jacksonville errors in the first half, and they're up 11.
Mm-hmm.
This is just for people who are thinking about playing this team in Survivor moving forward. Good God, what an experience this would be.
I know. I can't believe they're 3-1.
San Francisco helped by a couple Jacksonville penalties. Now we're in the second half. Inside the red zone, Purdy to McCaffrey from 8 out, 17-12. And then they got the 2-point try when Purdy threw a jump ball. Juwan Jennings came down with it. So it was 17-14. More than half of the third quarter left. This was still very much a ball game. And then San Francisco next drive, first play, Purdy picked by Devin Lloyd again. Jacksonville set up at the San Francisco 28. They have to settle for a field goal, a little 44-yarder, 20-14. Jacksonville at this point, 4:07 left third quarter. Then San Francisco a 3-and-out when Kendrick Bourne flat out drops a 3rd-and-9 pass from Purdy. And then here comes the special teams. Parker Washington returns the ensuing punt 87 yards to the house. 2-point try fails, 26-14 Jacksonville, late third quarter. Then San Francisco 4th and 2 at the Jacksonville 26. Purdy airmails DeMarcus Robinson. Next time San Francisco does get the ball, they do score from their own 8, 92 yards in 8 plays. Purdy to Tonjes from 21 out, 26-21 Jacksonville, halfway through the fourth. And then Jacksonville starts at their own 44 after enough unnecessary roughness on San Francisco on a kickoff. They get it to a Cam Little 47-yard field goal try. Can't say a little try because they know it's Cam Little. He tried to go up 8 points. He's wide right. So San Francisco down 5, takes over at their own 37 with 3:32 left. 1st and 10 at midfield. Purdy sacked by Eric Armstead. Fumbles recovered by Foyesade Oluokun. Jacksonville then, 49ers have 1 timeout. They use it after the first. Then Trevor runs out of bounds on 2nd to stop the clock. Fifth Jacksonville mental error. But they still get bailed out. 3rd and 5 at the San Francisco 42. Trevor to Hunter Long for 8 ball game. So just know this about Jacksonville. 5 bonehead plays, and they still beat the Niners. And then there's the Rams, who are hosting San Francisco, as you said. Let's go, after a Daniel Jones pick deep early by Cameron Curl. This is a 10-6 game in favor of the Colts. Late second half, Rams from their own 4 with 2:14 left in the half. 13 plays, 96 yards. Stafford to Devontae from 10 out. 13-10 Rams at the half. Puka Nacua at half had 7 catches for 112. Stafford was Nacua was big, Devontae was big, Tutu as it coming up was big. So it's 13-10 Rams. Third quarter, Indianapolis 3rd and 4th, their own 24. Here's the play of the game. And for those of us who had the Rams last week and who had the Rams this week, they giveth and they taketh.
Yep.
Or is it they taketh and they giveth? I'm not sure. But this I am not apologizing for because of what happened last week against the Eagles. Indianapolis 3rd and 4th, their own 24, down 13-10. Jones to Adonai Echad. Adonai Mitchell makes a great one-handed catch, pinning the ball to his body. Rams DBs collide with each other, so Adonai runs free, goes to celebrate a yard before he crosses the goal line and fumbles it through the end zone. Wow. 75-yard play, but not a 76-yard play.
Mm-hmm.
He needed 76. I feel like this happens twice a year.
It's incredible how much it happens. It's incredible, Gil. The only part that I want to even excuse him for a little bit was it feels like most of the time when we see this, the guys just drop it early thinking they're over the line. He at least was trying to transition hands and it got loose.
Why are you trying to transition?
I don't know. So you can celebrate. You can point it out.
That's what I'm saying. Next time Indianapolis gets the ball, 11 plays, 90 yards. Jones to Warren from 23 out. For 23, then to Pittman from 2 out. 17-13 Colts, 11:34 left in the fourth quarter. Rams, first play, Stafford fumbles. Adetomowa Adebawore recovers. Indianapolis at the Rams 17. Questionable OPI called on the Colts. And they have to settle for a Schrader 38-yard field goal. 20-13 Colts, 8:58 left. And the Rams and Stafford, 83 yards, including a 4th and 2 at the Indianapolis 9. Stafford to Puka. That was the touchdown play. 4th and 2 from the 9. Stafford to Puka in the end zone. 20-20, 3:20 left. Indianapolis gets the ball, though, right? Chance to win this. They get it to 1st and 10 at the Rams 47. Jonathan Taylor to the house. Touchdown, Colts. Except for there's a flag. Adonai Echad. Adonai Mitchell nullifies it with a hold.
Ouch.
After a reverse sack of Jones, Indianapolis forced to punt. Rams from their own 12. One play. Stafford to Tutu Atwell for 88. Touchdown. 27-20, and the Rams somehow are covering, let alone leading. By the way, you know the Colts? You know how many players they had on defense on that Tutu Atwell touchdown?
Dozen?
10. Indianapolis 1st and 15 at their own 27. Jones pick by Cam Curl, bookending the game. Cam Curl picks. Ball game. Niners at the Rams. 2 3-1s at the NFC West on Thursday Night Football. I'll say the Rams -4.
Rams 3.5. Pretty close. I think that makes sense.
Are there any 3s out there?
Last I checked, that was 3.5 painted. Yeah.
I think I like the Rams. I think the Rams are a demonstrably better football team than the Niners.
They've been great. I'm interested to see how far this team can go. We talked about it all offseason, that set of wide receivers that you talked about, Kyron Williams, the running game, all those weapons they have on offense, potentially an extremely dangerous team. It's just, you got to see a little bit more consistency, right?
I'm going to make that bet right now.
And 49ers, man, we've talked about a lot. The schedule's easy. This team is so banged up right now, though. It's hard to put too much faith into them.
Bet out of the chute. Let's see. You know what? Let me see what. I might even buy it. Well, we'll see. No, maybe
there are some cheap 3.5s out there.
Let's see what's going on here. Maybe 3.5 or 3. Let's see what happens. Coming back, more guessing lines. Week 5 on VSiN.
There's no better time to join VSiN Pro. Right now, get started for just $9.99 for your first 30 days or save 50% off with an annual subscription. As a Pro user, you'll get our newly updated NFL betting guide, as well as the college football betting guide, the ultimate playbook packed with expert picks, team previews, and best bets. Plus, you'll unlock exclusive features like real-time betting splits, daily best bets, and full access to the VSiN Watch app. Don't miss out. Head to VSiN.com/subscribe and join us on the Sports Betting Network. Get your edge this season with VSiN's College Football Betting Guide, exclusive to VSiN Pro subscribers. It's packed with 136 team previews, preseason top 25 rankings, and best bets from our experts. Pro subscribers also get the NFL Betting Guide, daily best bet emails, exclusive splits, and full access to our premium betting tools. Sign up now at VSiN.com/subscribe for just $9.99 for your first 30 days. Or save 50% with an annual Pro subscription and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Monday Night Football, better with Bracco. All NFL player props are -110 instead of the usual -120. Use promo code VSiN to claim a 50% deposit bonus and unlock ongoing rewards. Plus, we've added Bracco's lines to our VSiN betting splits page so you can track the action before you bet smarter this Monday. Go to Play Bracco, that's BRACCO, playbracco.com today. I did make the Rams bets. Didn't think I'd have a bet right out of the chute. I'm on the Rams -3.5 against the Niners Thursday night. We get tweets at Beating the Book. The best listeners in the game. Sparty KY. I'll never whine again about the gambling gods after holding on to a 72.5 under bet on the Angels. 3-16 finish.
Whew.
Good for you, Sparty. Have I mentioned the Guardians destroying me once again? And
That's what it was for you on the Rams, though. It was the betting football gods, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, but the Guardians are its own category. So not only did I lose the season, the Guardians win the AL Central 14 games above 500.
Incredible.
With a negative run differential. Lost the season win total. The alt season win total came down to the last game. Came down to extra innings of the last game yesterday. The Rangers went up with a Rowdy Tellez 3-run shot at the top of the 10th. You're like, okay, well, at least I'm going to win the alt season. The Guardians, with nothing to play for, they already clinched the division. They're not going to get a 1 or 2 seed. They played 4 in the bottom of the 10th. And with that, they also win September wins at Circa. If they lost, they would have lost September wins at Circa, where there's tiebreakers. Reminding me once again that bookending from the beginning of last year, they also screwed me on the 65-1. I hate your franchise, Adam Burke. But congratulations to you. I hope they go very far now.
More on that discussion coming up later.
Tristan Paul, make it simple. Remove the sudden death part of overtime. 10 minutes overtime with fourth quarter timing rules. When time is up, game is over. No special rules for this knick-knack stuff. He said different word than stuff. Playoffs just make it 15 minutes. Still tied to do another one. More football, more fun. Tristan, I'm not sure what you're getting at there other than this. The reason that we came to this is because all y'all, I'm not sure about you, but all y'all complained, right? That you didn't like the rule where if one team scored a touchdown, the game was over. Remember, when I was a kid, it was true sudden death. Mm-hmm. You got a field goal, it was over, right? And then it was like, okay, well, you got to score a touchdown. If you score a touchdown, then it's over on the first possession. So this, what it is now, is all the clamoring of people complaining about that stuff. Remember how y'all were like, both teams should get the ball. Blah, blah. So we can't complain about what we have now. Jason McKinney, what were your thoughts on the Cowboys not going for 2 when it was 13-8? Does anything change when you know you have a kicker like Aubrey? I didn't really make note of it at the time. I understand. I remember it, but I wasn't like pressed about it.
I was wondering about that, but I mean, gosh, with how much scoring ended up happening, I don't know really how much that mattered.
Numbers, guys. Good morning, guys. What a weekend. Golf, baseball. Wow. Did you guys catch that NBC has the rights to the NBA this fall? Sarcasm, he says. Neil Vanskoy. Neil might be right about this. I'm not sure. He says the opportunity to possess. I was talking about the one where if you kick a field goal or you score with 6 seconds left in the 10-minute overtime period, that you would have to do it so they don't have a return.
Yeah.
He says the opportunity to possess applies only during kicking plays. A kickoff is the opportunity to possess for the receiving team. If the kicking team legally recovers the kick, the receiving team is considered to have had its opportunity. Normal touching rules apply. So he's saying the kickoff return would count as a possession.
So as soon as the ball leaves the tee.
I'll need a ruling on that from somebody else. He might be right. Trip Tepper. How many times is Kyle Shanahan going to ignore his below-average special teams unit? Punt return, touchdown, crippled the Niners. Shanahan has given away so many games during his tenure with sloppy special teams. Sure has. And Judd O'Connor on the Thursday night game. Haven't looked at the history of the Rams, but it seems like they're incredibly good on a short week. Seems like the Rams offense is too tough to prepare for in just 3 days. Well, I'm on the Rams -3.5 based on what we just went through there. I think, again, they're demonstrably better than the San Francisco 49ers as currently constituted. Let's go to Sunday.
Sunday, London, Vikings stay put. You will play the Browns. Sunday, 6:30 a.m. Pacific time.
You mean the Vikings will play the Browns, is what you're saying?
Yeah, what did I just say? Sorry.
I just thought you meant I'm playing the Browns. Okay, you're right. Congratulations, London. Enjoy the Vikings and Browns. Vikings in Dublin yesterday.
It could be worse.
I guess.
Not much, but it could be.
Not offensive. Well, maybe it could be. But you have 2 good defenses. What's the? I'm curious to know what the total will be in this game. 3-0 Vikings. A little past the halfway mark of the first quarter. Pittsburgh 9 plays, 71 yards. Rodgers to DK for 14, 17, and 11 on the drive. Gainwell in from 1-7-3. Pittsburgh. Next time Pittsburgh gets the ball, 1 play. Rodgers to DK from 80 out. A lot of yak. 14-3 Pittsburgh. Early second quarter. Then Minnesota, 3rd and 8 at the Pittsburgh 43. Wentz throws his first non-completion, picked by Deshaun Elliott. Pittsburgh, Boswell, 30-yard field goal try blocked by Isaiah Rodgers. What a run Isaiah Rodgers is having. At 14-6 now, this is in the second half, Minnesota, second possession at midfield. Wentz picked off a deflection by T.J. Watt. Pittsburgh set up at the Minnesota 35 after an 8-yard pass play. 4 straight Gainwell rushes into the end zone from 4 out. 21-6 Pittsburgh. 2:33 left in the third quarter. Got the 24-6 Kelly early fourth quarter. And at this point, I'm like, well, I better get me some food before the real game starts because I want to take all my notes for Guessing Lines because this game is clearly over. 24-6 Pittsburgh in the fourth quarter, right? Not so fast, my friend. Minnesota, 9 plays, 70 yards. Wentz to Xavier Scott from 17 out. 2-point conversion from Wentz to Jalen Naylor. 24-14, 7:50 left in the fourth quarter. Yeah, I'm still good. Pittsburgh then 4th and goal to Minnesota 3 with 4:13 to go. Gainwell gets 2. Did you have a problem with that they went for it?
No.
I didn't either. I think that was the right play. Then Minnesota from their own 1. 3rd play, Wentz to Addison for 81. Where was the defense?
Nice to have him back.
Tripped up at the 1-yard line. 4 plays later, 4th and goal from the 2. Wentz to Naylor, touchdown. 24-21 with 2:08 left north of the 2-minute warning. Stevie Fezzik, please note that they didn't go from 10 to 4 to 2 like you would do. They went from 10 to 4 to 3 like normal people do. Minnesota with 1 timeout left and 2-minute warning. Onside kick fails. Pittsburgh takes over with 2:07 left at the Minnesota 49. They're up 3. They get it to 4th and inches at the Minnesota 40. 4th and inches at the Minnesota 40, up 3. And Mike Tomlin decides to punt with 1:08 left. Bro, I know you ended up winning the game. What are you doing? Seriously, what are you doing? Touchback. They net 20 yards. Minnesota takes over their own 20 with 1:01 left in the fourth quarter. First play, Wentz seemingly picked by James Pierre, but ruled correctly to have bobbled it before getting both feet in bounds. Defensive hold and offsides later. Minnesota at their own 30 with 48 seconds left. Wentz to Scott for 10, then intentional grounding on Wentz trying to avoid a would-be Herbig sack. 27 seconds left, loss of down. Back at the 23 to Hawkinson for 11. Spiked with 14 seconds left, but 4th and 13. Delay of game, that 4th and 18, intended for Addison, broken up by Deshaun Elliott. Ball game. And yes, it works out for the Vikings nonetheless. Excuse me, for the Steelers nonetheless. 24-21, they beat the Vikings. Cleveland loses to Detroit. It started out with an 88-yard, first time Cleveland had the ball, 88 yards, 13th play, Quinshon Judkins in from 1 on 4th and goal, 7-0 Cleveland. Detroit would match it on the subsequent drive, Gibbs in from 8, 7-7. Then Cleveland, 3rd and 8 at their own 25. Flacco just threw the ball up in the air on the left side, expecting a receiver to be there, but Kirby Joseph was there to pick it. Could have fair caught the ball. And Detroit from the Cleveland 46 had to settle for a field goal, 48-yarder from Jake Bates, 10-7 early second quarter. Later, Cleveland, 3rd play, 1st and 10, own 30. Flacco picked by DJ Reed after Judy fell down. Returned at 34 yards. Detroit set up at the Cleveland 5, 3rd and goal. Goff to St. Brown, 17-7. It would be 20-7 at the half after a 58-yarder by Bates. And in the second half, Detroit, 1st and 20, first possession, own 12. Goff throws it up for grabs deep, way underthrew the ball, picked by Denzel Ward. Cleveland set up at the Detroit 42, but they have to settle for a Schmidt 33-yarder. It was 20-10 at this point, and then Cleveland got the ball back. And they set up for a Schmidt 56-yard field goal, but he missed that one. And from there forward, it was all Detroit. 4th and 2 at the Cleveland 24. They went for it. Gibbs went out of bounds. Oh, not yet. Gibbs went out of bounds after a 1-yard pickup. So Cleveland had the ball again down 10. But when they had a 3-and-out special teams, Khalif Raymond returned to Corey Bojorquez punt, 65 yards to the house, 27-10. This is early fourth quarter. Later, Flacco would get sacked, fumbled, recovered by Trevor Nowaski. Denver set up at the Cleveland 20, Goff to St. Brown from 8 out, 34-10, as Detroit, in a game that was much more competitive than the final score would indicate, I will say, even though you never felt like Cleveland could actually win the game. So this is Minnesota at Cleveland at London. Because Minnesota is already in the UK, right? They don't have to travel across the pond here. And I think Cleveland is doing that today, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I'll check.
I don't know if they're doing it today, but they're flying directly from Detroit. I would assume. So, advantage Minnesota. Now, Minnesota was what? They ended up being a 2.5-point favorite against Pittsburgh?
Yes.
Even though they lost, they had that nice flourish at the end. So I would think against Cleveland, they would have to be north of 3 points. I will say Minnesota minus 4.5 at Cleveland.
This is where most spots opened like 4.5 down to 3.5 everywhere.
Okay, as long as it's over 3, though, that makes sense.
I agree. Any interest, though, on either side?
Nope.
I don't know if I'm running to lay more than a field goal with the Vikings.
Nope.
I'll say Carson Wentz, though, like...
What's the total? What's the total in this game?
Total in this game is 36.5. There are 37s out there.
I was hoping for a 4 to begin that.
Enjoy, London.
Yeah. Have fun, London. More guessing lines. Looking for value in Week 5. It's a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
As sports fans, we may cheer for different teams, but there's one thing that we can all agree on. We want the game to be big. And with 3 levels, 30 cabanas, a 143-foot screen, 6 clean pools, and endless cold drinks, it doesn't get any bigger or any better than Stadium Swim in Las Vegas. All sports, all seasons. It's more than a pool deck. Stadium Swim. It's the only thing like it in the world.
Join the guru, John Hansen, at the intersection of prop betting and fantasy sports on Prop Points, only on VSiN.
And shout out to Elijah Moore as well. Oftentimes he's Elijah less. Keep in mind, Sean Payton is evil for fantasy football.
John and his guests will help you find the connection between the two and give you his expert advice on how to capitalize when a number is too good to pass up. Prop Points, weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Numbers Game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
NHL season 8 days away. Drop the puck October 7th. VSiN's got you covered. Our NHL hub at VSiN.com/NHL is packed with team previews, futures insights, award markets, and our experts' best season-long bets. With new content and features rolling out all season, you'll have everything from Stanley Cup contenders to player props in one place. Get ready for opening night at VSiN.com/NHL. Gil Alexander, we get tweets at Beating the Book. Corbin on Twitter. Good morning, fellas. Brutal weekend for me. Did anybody notice that review in the Vikings game when they were able to place the ball 9 inches from the first down marker? Guess that's not available league-wide. Just those folks in Ireland get it. Cool. I did not see that.
Good
play.
for them, yeah.
We might have been. Was that in the first half? Just here to relax. Is what his Twitter handle is. Your boy hit Guardians to win the division at 100-1. Wowza! Whew. I assume my boy is you. Placed it on August 21st as the season long over was starting to burn. One of those emotional hedges. What a ride!
That's wild.
Bro, if you time that well, boy, yeah. That's
about as well as you could have timed it, right?
It's historical. No team has ever come back from 15.5 games down. It's never happened before. It's amazing. Bruce Doe Biggin. Indy's out of 9, Mitchell's drop. Green Bay's Tucker Kraft lands twice on the 6-inch line. Maybe I should have watched the Ryder Cup. Oh well, Mama said you can't hurry love. Interesting comment at the end. Joe Ryan. Heard on the radio postgame the Bears were 0-25 until yesterday when their opponent scored 23 points or more. Is that right? They were last 0-25 when their opponent scored 23 or more?
Sounds right.
We'll go with it.
I'll go with it. Sounds right. I mean, like the Bears have struggled to find a quarterback, right? That has kind of been a thing for them.
Numbers guy says he has a Rams -2.5 somewhere. Best money line.
He's asking whether to pay up for that.
Best money line he can find is -155 at MGM. Too pricey? I didn't buy anything. I'm going -3.5. And I don't. If you're bent on playing the money line, I don't believe that's too pricey. But don't hold me to that. Lockman.
I'm thinking he's talking about buying through the 3. 2.5 at -155 because the money line's like -200.
Oh, right. Yeah. I'm sorry. -2.5, -155. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'd need Elihu to tell me precisely if that math is right or physics. Lockman. I really need you guys to consider this is a very interestingly worded tweet. I really need you guys to consider the fact the Eagles can potentially be last year's Chiefs with a lot of one-score wins. I said this last week. Please think about it.
I like this tweet. I like this tweet, Gil, though, because have we been hating on the Eagles?
No, I have them I have them power ranked number 1. What are you talking about?
And I agree with your tweet.
Yes.
I think this is what we talked about so much with the Chiefs last year, right? It's the one-score game thing. It's a thing. But when you talk about teams that have great coaches, great quarterbacks, you do expect that they can do it a little bit more and get done.
Why is Lockman chastising us? That really needs
you
guys
man.
to consider.
It's like the A.J. Brown
Please
stuff
think
is hilarious.
about it.
I think it's because we brought up A.J. Brown.
Oh, Stringfellow Hawk.
Why is Saquon Barkley not going nuts?
Stringfellow Hawk. Giants fan here. Had the Chargers at DraftKings Survivor. I hate them. Also had the Packers, where at DraftKings ties survive. There you go. Not everybody plays Circa. Circa ties lose, DraftKings ties win. Darren Frazier, it's a good morning when you have plus a half point on the Packers as the last leg of your 9-leg teaser parlay, and it ends with a tie. Nice job. And then Rich PSM, how about the Angels under 71.5 to see them go like 3-21 this month to tease me, then finally win Friday and end at 72. Another Jason Weingarten pre-flop play. That one. Besides, he says the Rockies can win 35 at home. Yeah, let's not talk about that one.
There's a chance, Gil. I'd have to go back and check the record books, but there's a chance that no team in NFL history, this sounds so wrong as I'm saying it, and my NFL betting history has cost me more money over a 2-week span than the Green Bay Packers.
They killed 2 weeks in a row of Survivor players. It's not quite the carnage. You could use it for last year. The carnage that the Bengals inflicted on Survivor players last year, but it's the 2025 version of it. Next.
All right, early window, Raiders at Colts.
All right, we're finally to the early window. Raiders lose to the Bears. See this game? Raiders fall to 1-3. Mm-hmm. Raiders 3rd and 10, own 46. Geno picked by Kevin Byard, returns at 35 yards. Caleb gets the 2nd and 3rd down passes batted down, even though Chicago was set up at the Vegas 24. 3-0 Bears. Santos field goal. Then Las Vegas 4th and 1, own 35. Genty hit by Noah Sewell. He fumbles. Recovered by Tyreek Stevenson. Chicago set up again at the Vegas 20-yard line. This time, 3rd and goal to 13. Caleb throws high. Max Crosby picks it off a deflection. Las Vegas, 66 yards. Geno to Genty from 8 out. 7-3 Las Vegas. Closing seconds, first quarter. Then Chicago, 4th and 1 at their own 40. Caleb to Swift for 7. Then after a 29-yard hookup to Kmet. Next play, incomplete, fumble, sack. They eschew the 57-yard field goal try. They punt. How about that? You don't see that very often anymore. Las Vegas, 3rd play, next drive, own 23. Geno picked again by Byard. After return, Chicago set up at the Las Vegas 24, another short field. But they have to settle for Santos' 43-yard field goal. 7-6 Las Vegas, 4:22 second quarter. At this point, you're thinking, Bears are squandering all these opportunities. My goodness. Advantage Las Vegas. And then first play, Genty for 64 to the house. There he is. There's a kid from Boise State. Touchdown. 14-6 Las Vegas, 4:03 left second quarter. Now 14-9 in the second half. First play, Geno picked by a diving Tyreek Stevenson. Chicago once again set up in plus territory at the Las Vegas 40. They overcome a face mask on offense, and on 2nd and 22, the Raiders give up it on 2 plays. 3rd and 12, Caleb to Odunze from 27 out. 16-14, Chicago, they got themselves a lead. They opt for no 2, so it's 16-14. They don't try to make it 17-14. 11:38 left in the third quarter. Ben Johnson was curious with some of his decision-making here. Las Vegas then 10 plays, 80 yards. Geno to Genty from 9 out. 21-16 Las Vegas in the third quarter. Later, closing stages of the fourth quarter. It's 24-19 Las Vegas. 6:45 left. Chicago, they need a touchdown from their own 31. Caleb to Swift for 5. DeAndre for 7. Caleb to Moore for 13. To Swift for 7. False start. Caleb for 13. 2 plays later. Caleb to Odunze for 17. 2-minute warning at the Las Vegas 13. 2 plays later. Caleb for 6. Swift for 5. 3rd and 4. Swift around the left side from 2 out. Touchdown. 2-point try fails. Chicago up 25-24. 1:34 left. Plenty of time in the modern NFL for the Raiders to matriculate and get themselves a win. All they need is a field goal. Dylan Laube returns the ensuing kickoff 38 yards. They're set up, the Raiders are at their own 42. 2 timeouts left. 3rd and 2 at the Chicago 35. Genty gets 1. 38 seconds left. Carlson, 54-yard try. Blocked by Josh Blackwell. Bears win. Ball game.
Another block.
Another block. That's a block that people won't even remember.
Yeah, I know. It is wild. The blocks, man.
Las Vegas is in Indy. We already talked about Indy. Indy loses to the Rams in ridiculous fashion. Adonai Mitchell drops the ball heading in at the 1, and then they give up that 88-yard play to Tutu Atwell at the end with 10 men on the field on defense. Daniel Jones in defeat, 24 of 33 for 262. Mitchell, 3 for 96. The long one was 75. It wasn't 76. But the Colts gave up 462 total yards to the Rams. They were -2 in turnovers. I will say the Colts hosting the Raiders, the Colts by 6.
Yeah, you're in the range. 6.5, I think, is where it opened up most places. It's still 6.5 most places. I see a 7 out there. And 6 is 6 at DraftKings right now.
I don't know what to make of the Raiders. Do they stink?
I really wish I would have bet that Geno Smith most interceptions prop before the season. It was one I really considered, and it's just...
I don't get the feeling they stink, but they're certainly not good. Too many errors.
They feel very much like what I thought the Raiders were going to be coming into this season, except I did expect a little bit more consistency out of the offense. I think the Brock Bowers injury has held them back.
I will tell you this. I feel better about the Colts in defeat, the way that they lost yesterday, than I did after they were 3-0.
Yeah, I think I agree with you.
Because they probably should have won that game yesterday, let alone not cover.
Yeah.
They dropped to 3-1. So it's more than 6.
Yeah, 6-7. Yeah,
6-7.
6-7.
Okay.
Where we're at. You're seeing a cheap 7 here, right, at Circa. Otherwise, it's 6.5, 6 everywhere. I was looking for, when you were going through that recap, what did Genty... Well, Rookie of the Year odds. Genty, now your favorite all of a sudden. We talked last week about how far he had dropped back.
Genty, 21 carries for 138 yards and a touchdown. He did lose a fumble. 2 catches for 17 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he scored 3 touchdowns total.
Yeah, goes from plus 850 to your plus 280 favorite at DraftKings.
Again, a lot of these games, too, if you look at the total yards in the box score, Vegas outgained Chicago 357 to 271. Losing team often with more yards, it seems. A lot of that's in catch-up. But here was the real stat. On the ground, Las Vegas outgained Chicago 240-69. Again, 138 of those from Ashton Genty. But they were -3 in turnovers. What do we say? 3-point shooting is all that matters in a NBA box score. If I see that, I can tell you who won the game 90% of the time. Turnovers. You could tell who won 90% of the time in the NFL. You just had access to that before the game. Sadly, you don't. Ashton Genty plus 280, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Emeka Egbuka had a big catch late, 3-1. Omarion Hampton, who had a great game yesterday for the Chargers, 5-1. Jackson Dart making his first start, looked fairly good yesterday, 6-1. And then Tyler